most of us, we start a business because we want something up here. Dollars, quality of life. It might be some financial freedom. It might be flexibility, whatever it is. But our success is up here. But we all start in the same place, right? We all start down here. But I see so many entrepreneurs get stuck in hustle. So let me share with you what hustle kind of looks like. So we start and we go, well, we need a website. Well, if we have a website, we must need a blog. If we need a blog, we need a newsletter. If we need a newsletter, we must post it on Facebook. Well, then maybe we should post it on LinkedIn. Well, then maybe back to Facebook ads, webinars, book. Maybe I should write. Maybe I should do podcasts. Maybe I should do this. Maybe. And they're exhausted. That is hustle. And the thing is that out there in the world today, we have social media, and social media shows us all these gurus who are telling us that the next best thing to move our business forward. But what happens in hustle is that it's tactic after tactic after tactic, and we lose momentum. There's no traction moving. Typically, the entrepreneurs here find themselves working really, really hard without getting the rewards, the financial rewards that they want. So maybe they can't settle on a niche. Maybe they sound the same as everyone else. So, maybe they'll introduce themselves and say, well, I'm a business coach, or I'm a podcaster, or if you might say, I'm a real estate agent, or I'm a life coach. Well, when we say things like that, we sound the same as everybody else. Isn't that true? So there's several ways to get out of hustle. One of them is to have the right mindset. And you can, change your mindset and kind of pop out of hustle, but then fall back down, and pop out of hustle and fall back down. But I say there's two things that are really going to get you out of hustle and stay out of hustle. And I'm going to talk about this one first up here, and I call this CRA. And CRA actually stands for consistently the right activity for your stage of business growth. So you have, here we are in hustle. And if you want to shift out of hustle, you need to know what stage of business growth you're at, or your CRA. You need to know your DNA, your distinctive natural advantage. But there's 3 mission critical functions that you still need. So I want to share those with you. One is, it's great to have these, but if you don't have a roadmap, a plan, a strategy, then it's kind of like putting the cart before the horse. How do you know where you're going? And, I call myself the entrepreneur's GPS. Well, a GPS, here's where you are, but you have to know where you want to go. And the roadmap is, where you want to go. The second thing you need to know is your marketing mix. And, here we are on a podcast. Well, a podcast is a marketing tactic, as are all these other things, Facebook Live, Facebook, LinkedIn, speeches, seminars, workshops, books, all these types of things. They're all tactics, but the marketing mix here must also be connected to your DNA. So why would so a friend of mine is a broadcaster, radio broadcaster, and a speaking coach. Instead of creating and worrying about copy and writing blogs, why would he do that when his DNA would say, no, he needs to focus on speaking? So he created a podcast, or vice versa. I have a client who's a copywriter, and she loves writing creative copy, loves it. So why would she do speaking? She might eventually, but go with what you are good at already. So you need a marketing mix that supports your roadmap, but that is also connected to your DNA. And the third thing is that expert advantage, right? You need to know how to communicate succinctly, effectively, how you are different than everybody else. So if we took a life coach, how does one life coach explain that they are different than someone else? And if you can't explain it, then certainly, how could anybody refer you? How would your prospects know how to say yes to you in a sales conversation? How can you be different? Because being different is what's going to allow you to stand out in the marketplace today, in a very noisy global marketplace. What I do with clients when they come to me and say, Diana, I need to know how to communicate this, I do a session that I call Discover Your Difference. And I go right back to those three components of the DNA. So right back to this here. And I have a workbook that I send them. And they fill out the workbook, and we come back and we spend some time figuring out what their message is going to be based on who they are. And we create a positioning statement, and sometimes it resonates, sometimes it's a little uncomfortable. But then I send them out and they have to go test it. Because, you know, it's fine for us to sit here and figure something out, but it's the proof of the pudding, as they say, is when you go out and test it in the marketplace and see the reaction of people. And so an example might be a client who came to me and she says, she introduces herself, I'm an energy worker. And I go, I have no idea what that means. I don't know the results that she gets for people. I don't know the problem that she solves. So we spent some time doing the DNA, discovering her difference. And to bring things very short, we called her the queen of chronic pain relief. Very succinct. People would go, oh, so you solve chronic pain? And she goes, yeah. That's my expertise. Much different than saying I'm an energy worker. So that's what we do in our Discover Your Difference session.